Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're serious about planning for retirement, you've come to the right place. Today we're diving deep into the most significant changes coming to IRAs in 2026. I'm talking about contribution limits, new catch-up rules, income and deductibility limits, even tax brackets, and how all of this may affect your retirement strategy. So, whether you're just starting to save or you're already in your 50s and 60s, this video has something for you. We're going to cover everything from the basics, like what the new contribution limits are, to advanced strategies for maximizing your retirement savings. So, grab a notebook, hit that like button, and let's get into it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you need to do to make the most of 2026. Okay. Let's go ahead and start with the headline news. The IRA contribution limit is going up in 2026. If you've been contributing to a traditional or a Roth IRA, you can now save up to $7,500 per year. That's up from $7,000 in 2025. It might not sound like a massive jump, but that extra $500 can make a real difference when it compounds over time. The $7,500 limit applies to the combined total of your traditional and your Roth IRA contributions. So that's aggregate. The $7,500 limit applies to the combined total of your traditional and Roth IRA contributions. So if you have both a traditional and a Roth IRA, you can't put $7,500 into each. It's $7,500 total aggregate across both accounts. You could do $4,000 in one and $3,500 in the other, but the total must stay at or below the $7,500 cap. But here's where it gets even better. If you're age 50 or older, you qualify for catch-up contributions. The catch-up limit for 2026 is $1,100. Now that hasn't gone up in a few years, so that's pretty cool that the catch-up limit has gone up. So that is up from $1,000 prior to 2025. So if you're in that age bracket, your total IRA contribution limit jumps to $8,600 for the year. So here's a pro tip. If you turn 50 at any point in 2026, you're eligible for the full catch-up contribution for the entire year. You don't have to wait until your birthday. You can start contributing that extra $1,100 on January 1st if you want. So picture this. Your birthday, New Year's baby, is December 31st of this year, going to be 2026. That means that even though you don't turn 50 till that very last day, you still qualify for that catch-up contribution for that entire tax year of 2026. So that's pretty cool. So those are the contribution limits, but there's another piece of the puzzle that we need to talk about, and that's income limits. Because depending on how much you make and whether you're covered by a retirement plan at work, your ability to deduct traditional IRA contributions could be reduced or even eliminated entirely. So for 2026, the IRS has adjusted the income phase-out ranges. If you're a single filer covered by a workplace retirement plan, the phase-out range is now $81,000 to $91,000. That's up from $79,000 to $89,000 in 2025. So if you make between those amounts, your deduction starts to phase out. If you make over $91,000, you cannot deduct your traditional IRA contributions at all. Now, that doesn't mean you can't make them. You can absolutely make them. You just can't write them off. So for married couples filing jointly, where the contributing spouse is covered by a workplace plan. The range is $129,000 to $149,000. And if you're not covered by your spouse is, the range is $242,000 to $252,000. Now, Roth IRAs also have income limits, but they work a little differently. The contribution limits are based on your modified adjusted gross income. And if you exceed certain thresholds, you may not be able to contribute directly to a Roth at all. But don't worry, there's a workaround called the backdoor Roth IRA, which we'll touch on later. Now, let's talk about workplace retirement plans, because the changes aren't just happening with IRAs. If you have a 401k, a 403b, a 457 plan, you need to know about these updates. The contribution limit for 401k is increasing to $24,500 in 2026. That's up from $23,500. And if you're 50 or older, you can contribute an additional $8,000 in catch-up contributions, bringing your total to $32,500. But here's something really cool. If you're between the ages of 60 and 63, there is a super catch-up provision that lets you contribute even more, up to $11,250 instead of the regular $8,000 catch-up. This is a relatively new rule from the Secure 2.0 Act, and it's designed to help people who are in that final push before retirement to really ramp up their savings. Now, here's where things get a little tricky for high earners. Starting in 2026, if you made more than $150,000 in wages from your employer in 2025, all of your catch-up contributions to your 401k, 403b, one of those, have to be made on a Roth basis. That means you won't get an upfront tax deduction for those catch-up contributions. They'll be taxed now, but they'll grow tax-free and come out tax-free in retirement. Your regular contributions up to that $24,500 limit can still be pre-tax if you want, but the catch-up portion must be Roth if you're a high earner. And if your plan doesn't offer a Roth option, unfortunately, you won't even be able to make up a catch-up contribution at all. The good news is that employers have a grace period through 2026 to get their plans compliant. So full enforcement doesn't start until 2027, but it's something you need to be aware of if you're a high earner. Now, let's talk taxes, because understanding the 2026 tax brackets is key to making smart retirement decisions. The federal tax rates themselves aren't changing. We still have 7 tax brackets. The 10%, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, and 37% tax brackets. But the income thresholds for those tax brackets have been adjusted for inflation. The bottom 2 brackets, the 10 and 12% brackets, got about a 4% bump, while the higher brackets saw around 2.3%. So what does this mean for you? Well, if your income stays roughly the same from 2025 to 2026, you might see a slightly lower tax bill because more of your income will be taxed at lower rates. And when withholdings are adjusted, you might even notice your paychecks are a little bigger. Now, one question I get all the time: how do I avoid jumping into that 22% tax brackets? For single filers, the 22% bracket starts at around $47,150. For married filing jointly, it's around $94,300. So if you're close to those thresholds, Here are a few strategies, keeping in mind that you should remember to consult with your CPA or tax advisor on which strategy might work best for your exact situation. So, number one, max out your pre-tax retirement contributions. Every dollar you put into a pre-tax 401k or a traditional IRA reduces your taxable income, which could keep you in the 12% tax bracket. Number two, contribute to a health savings account if you're eligible. HSA contributions are tax deductible and can further lower your taxable income. And number three, time your deductions strategically. If you're on the border of a tax bracket, bunching deductions like charitable contributions or medical expenses into 1 year might help you stay in that lower tax bracket. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. Now let's bring it all together with some actionable steps you can take to maximize your retirement savings in 2026. So, action step number one. Review your contribution strategy. If you're not already maxing out your IRA or 401k, now's the time to increase your contributions. Even bumping up your contribution rate by just 1% can make a huge difference over time. Action step number two. If you're 50 or older, make sure you're taking advantage of catch-up contributions. That extra $1,100 for Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, or $8,000 for 401ks can really add up, especially if you're in that final decade before retirement. Okay, action step number three. Think about Roth versus traditional contributions. If you're in a lower tax bracket now and expect to be in a higher one in retirement, Roth contributions might make sense. But if you're in a high bracket now and expect to be in a lower one later, traditional pre-tax contributions would save you more. So yeah, it's a good time to talk to your CPA. Action step number four. If you're a high earner making over $150,000, start planning for the mandatory Roth catch-up rule. Make sure your employer's plan offers a Roth option and factor in the tax impact of after-tax contributions. Action step number five. If you're near retirement or already retired, budget for higher Medicare premiums. And if you're turning 65 soon, shop around during open enrollment to find the best plan for your needs. Okay, let's see. Yep, action step number six. Consider working with a financial advisor or a tax professional. The rules are complicated, and personalized advice can help you navigate these changes much more effectively. And finally, and I can't stress this enough, start now. The earlier you begin, the more time your money has to grow. Even if you can't max out your contributions right away, contributing something is better than contributing nothing. All right, that's a wrap. We've covered everything from the new IRA contribution limits to catch-up rules, 401k changes, tax brackets, actionable strategies you can use to maximize your retirement savings in 2026. I know it's a lot of information, but here's the key takeaway. Small, consistent actions over time lead to big results. Whether you're in your 20s, 40s, or 60s, every contribution you make today is an investment in your future self. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more retirement planning tips and financial advice. Drop a comment below if you have any questions. I read every single one and I'll do my best to answer. Thank you so much for watching. And here's to a financially secure 2026. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.